Hello, my name is Alan Clark, and I am doing my oral presentation, my midterm. So the community that I decided to present to was my little brother and my best friend. The topic I decided to present was Booker T. Coleman, Ethiopia and world history. So off the bat, the purpose of me presenting this topic is that one, I wanted them to understand their true origins and that the fact that we Africans were at a point, the first and only people on earth. Two, that the Egyptians, Ethiopians were black. Not only that, but I wanted them to understand the depigmentation process that occurred, that happened, and that influenced the mutational process from the black African person to the white being. I wanted to explain that process and how that came about and why, or what caused it. So initially what I dove into Booker T. Coleman. As he says Ethiopia, he creates Egypt. Egypt was then known as Kemet to the people, land of the blacks. So he says that Ethiopia was very rainy, had harsh weather conditions, and it wasn't very clear vision line to the skies. So these people decided to travel to Egypt, which was known as Kemet, to get a clearer skyline view. They didn't know at the time they were traveling to an ice age, which was known as the fourth stage, the worm. And during this time, the sun disappeared for thousands of years. So think that there was no more vitamin D, and the only thing they could do is find the supplement. The supplement was fish, which they didn't know at the time. And so think the sunlight was stripped from them for thousands of years. They had to go in caves. Due to this, the lack of sunlight, the depigmentation happened to their skin. Also, meaning that they went from black darks to white to lighter. Also, I went into the principle that Booker T. Coleman used to explain the heat expands and cold contracts principle, which means as heat expands, when they were sunny, we had big lips, but when it got cold and they went into the mountains due to this ice age, their lips were puckered due to the cold, and that contracted their lips. Also, he uses ideas and documented history and analogies to incorporate the physical traits that happen. For example, like long hair, to protect from the wind. Well, beforehand, when it was sunny, they needed curly, woolly hair to stop from sunlight getting into causing them hand cancer and skin cancer. So different stuff like that. Booker T. Coleman, I went to explain how he uses, for example, the how birds and their different beak and length and sizes, how that analogy affects and things like that, in which Booker T. Coleman uses. Now let's dive into. I also wanted to. Let's dive into Afrocentricity versus Eurocentricity. So Afrocentricity is a frame of reference wherein the phenomenon of the viewed from the African person's perspective. Afrocentricity is not a black version of Eurocentricity. Not. Afrocentricity does not promote the uplifting or classifying as a certain ethnic or group of people as superior compared to other groups of ethnics or groups of people. It does not promote that. Eurocentricity is an idea of the white being the superior, the dominated people. Also, it's spreading up the categories and groups of people, aka races, blacks, Indians, Asians. It's the spreading of that. Also, it's the saying that the whites were the superiors, and that Eurocentricity also claims and manifests or promotes the intentional of the omission of history. What is omission of history? So I know from my work at job, when we omit or omission of things is to skip. So the omission of history, think the skipping of history, which would result into the unknowing of history if we're skipping over history. So, and that's what Eurocentricity causes. Also, Eurocentricity, it distorts and actually says that no other ethnic group contributed or put input to the work in the building of this continent or this country of America, which is not true. Eurocentricity also sugarcoats the truth. It doesn't give you the raw, full history. What they do is they sugarcoat the truth, twist the truth, or tell you parts of the truth, which is not good at all. Now, so as in definitions for those, so it's important to understand epistemologies and worldview. So, before I even go ahead, Afrocentricity and Eurocentricity are not polar opposites of each other. Polar opposites of each other, think of up, down, left, right, positive, negative. Up and down is the same concept of direction, but they're directly opposite because one is up and one is down. Same thing with direction. But this is not, however, this doesn't occur with this Afrocentricity is not a black version of Eurocentricity. Afrocentricity is not a black version or a version of Eurocentricity at all. Afrocentricity, it promotes the equality of all, as Eurocentricity literally says one is higher, you guys are below. So no, so they're not a part of the same concept. So that I wanted to explain that. So to get into epistemology, that definition is the study of knowledge in regards to its methods, validity, and its scope. The goal or objective of epistemology is to observe and to distinguish its validated beliefs and or facts from opinions. Worldview is a collection of stories, places, events, traditions, or even expectations from within the world that we live in today. Worldview can be studied from ethnics, traditions within cultures,